Sanmonani Dumelang, how's it? Kinna Jacob Moshokoa, driving our long-termer. And the reason why this car is so important and why I need to tell you about it is because we got this car on 10,000 kilometers almost a year ago. Now we are on 24,986 kilometers. It's been a great 15,000 kilometer run with this car, and a lot of those 15,000 kilometers were courtesy of me. And I'm going to tell you what it's like to live, breathe and eat Ford SuperCab. I like the fact that it's a Wildtrak, rather better than the Ranger XLT. Seen a lot on the road. This one is the better one. So let's roll the video and let's get into it.
Think of a car, any car. Yes, Cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you.
Now let's start things off in the looks department. Gotta love the look of the new Rangers, without a doubt. I still call them new Rangers because this new shape is popular in any province. And the reason why I say in any province is because I did a trek a couple of weeks ago, driving from Cape Town all the way to Johannesburg. And of course, I went the long way around via Northern Cape, a bit of Eastern Cape, and then into the Free State, and then Gauteng. You see this shape in every form. I'm talking Everests, I'm talking XLs, I'm talking XLTs, double cab, Raptors. You know how many Raptors I saw over the December holidays on the road? Woo! This shape is addictive. It's because it's so beautiful. These sea headlights, these amazing and ferocious looking grills. These cars look the business, they look the part. And you know the saying, "Monna ke van." That's what I felt like between December and January. Driving this car, stopping at the garage and filling up, made me feel like a real man's man, because I'm driving a bakkie. And I won't lie, I look down at the Hiluxes and the Isuzus these days, because this is the staple. It's the bakkie to go to. Oh, but a Hilux still does look nice in GR form, but it doesn't look better than this Wildtrak. So it is of course the SuperCab we've been driving, and the nice thing about the SuperCab is we use it to load gear. It's been a very sentimental car for me over the past few months. And the reason why is, you might have picked up that you're seeing a lot of me on this channel. And that's because I did the trek. I sold out. I left Johannesburg and I'm officially a Cape Townian. And this car is the car that I'm attached to, because upon arriving at the office, there was always a situation. I hadn't brought my cars down yet, and it was one of those, so guys, what car can I take to go home? Everybody was like, hey, you're gonna have to take the Wildtrak. I flew in late at night, so many occasions, straight to the office, and there was this car. I've developed an attachment to this car. When I needed to get a new TV, this was the car I needed to drive to go buy the new TV. Recently went to go buy a new couch. This is the car. Now, that's the thing about these bakkies, so utilitarian. Is that a word? Utilitarian. I might say it wrong because English is not my first language, but what I'm trying to say is bakkies are go-to for many people. Great use for somebody who needs to load things. On my last drive now from Johannesburg to Cape Town, I loaded so many things in this bakkie, from my sneakers to pot plants mom had given me. I got coffee cups for the office as well. And I even took my bicycle. Yes, I'm a cyclist. It's always been a secret, but now that I live in the Western Cape, I'm a cyclist. This car pulls like a train. On this beautiful N7 driving towards Cape Town, the only downers are the fact that there is a lot of like wind noise in between the mirrors. But you pump up the volume and you forget about the wind noise. Great lumbar support, great comfortability. In fact, the aircon even gets a little cold at times. And the most important person traveling with me is, of course, my girlfriend. She actually didn't complain. In fact, all she did was have her seat down and sleep most of the way. I did all the hard work. I did all the driving. We took the long way around, and gee, I put 3,000 kilometers on here in about 2 or 3 weeks. How much fuel I used? That's of course another story. In total, I used about 7,500 Rand worth of fuel. A full tank in this car is about 1,600 Rand. Average fuel consumption, I might tell you, going up to Joburg, 9.9 liters per 100 kilometers. Coming back up, because I was a little more loaded and I had a few things in the back, 9.8 liters per 100 kilometers. They claim around 8 liters, but nah, I don't think you'll get that. The 9.8 was adequate, it was fair. I am not going to argue that. Now, how does the car feel in general? Man, this is a good bakkie. It really is a good bakkie. And the only qualms I might have about it is when you switch off the car after resting somewhere or staying overnight in an Oudtshoorn, for instance, you come back to the car and you want to connect the Apple CarPlay, then it's like, oh, the car doesn't remember you. I found that a little tedious. It did happen about 2 or 3 times in my time with the car, but maybe it's something that can be fixed with like software. Maybe they'll get to it at some point. Now, on that trajectory about the things that I don't like, the guys at the office had mentioned something about a pre-collision assist not available on the car and the front camera not available on the car. It didn't happen to me in the time that I had the car, but lo and behold, front camera malfunction, service required. Might have to make that call to Ford. Yeah, maybe service is about to happen on this car. We'll have to figure that out. Plus, Ford's got this really cool thing where they can send a technician out to you to service the car while you're at work or when you're at home, which will of course make it a little easier. And that's why I mentioned earlier that it could just be a software thing. It could perhaps just be an upgrade. Maybe they got to plug in the car, maybe they got to cancel a couple of errors, refresh something for that to not happen. Because that could make any driver feel uncomfortable if you're driving and that collision assist warning thing is not working. That makes me feel a bit uneasy. But I was happy and fortunate that it didn't happen while I was owning the car during the December period. Another thing is these suicide doors. I got used to them, but at some point if you're in a tight parking, it's like opening the back door to try and get something out. It becomes a little different. It becomes a little difficult. Now the backpack is another story. Load bin is a totally other story. As much as you need a load bin, because munake van, right? This load bin is a bit of an issue. It's got a great cover, but the cover would have been better if it was electric. Now let's look at this load bin a little better. You need the remote to open, works like a door. Then you've got this secure lid to get into the load bay. Lots of tie downs around this car. And there's a 12-volt outlet here, as well as a 2-point plug, American style type of plug. Now further down here, you'll see there are pipes on either side. That's just so that the water can run out and not into the load bin. And then closing this is a little difficult when you're at the end. So you've got this. There we go. Easy close. I would prefer an electric one. There we go. Now it closes. Now to secure this, you use the key. Quick lock. And you can't get in. Cool. If you need this beautiful cover, you're looking at about 20K. So the key is to buy this car that already has it. So here in the back, there aren't really seats. It's purely for you to load. You can't put a seat here in the back. There's no seat belt. So technically it's illegal to have a passenger here in the back. It's a 2-seater. Okay, let's see what makes this a super cab. How's that? It's that little door over there. So this seat belt is actually attached to the back door, meaning to use the seat belt, you need this back door closed. Inside here, got a bit of storage. Our microphones are in there. Similar box on the other side. We've actually got our wheel jack, or the wheel jack of this car is stored there, and the triangle, exactly. And then, can't really sit in here, but you can sit in here. A bit tough on the backside, but here we are in the back seat. This is illegal. Price of this car, as you see it, brand new, 830,000 Rand. Mind you, in 2022, when this car was launched, you were looking at around 780,000 Rand. So that gives you an idea of inflation. But what are you getting in the front of this car? You get this amazing engine, right? 2-liter BiTurbo diesel. Solid engine. 154 kilowatts, 500 Newton meters of torque. And I hate the fact that I didn't get to tow with this car. I have a friend who has a business who has the exact same spec. In fact, his one is a better spec because he got the 20-inch wheels. And funny thing is, when you select the driver modes here from 2H, 4H and 4L, his one has a button to assist with towing. And that will assist you when you are reversing with a caravan, for instance, or reversing with a trailer. And it just does the reversing for you. Now, if you've reversed a car with a trailer, you know how difficult that can be. So, in terms of spec, this is a great spec, but the one thing to know and note is, with a bit of extras, you can take this car to the next level. Driving this car has been a breeze. It's been comfortable, it's been smooth. I love how easy it is to control the cruise control in this car. One touch of a button, cruise control, 120 k's an hour, dream. The semi-autonomous driving comes into play as well. I'm on a bend, it takes the bend. I'm not saying that you need to drive the car without your hands, because you have to be responsible. But the fact that you've got that, it gives you so much confidence. And again, on the long road, when you need the car to punch, to overtake, it punches so easy. The 10-speed automatic gearbox is a dream. The only time it does feel a little jittery is when I'm at a shopping mall and I'm maybe quickly looking to get into a parking or getting out of the parking, out of reverse, into drive quite quickly. That's the only times it feels a little jittery, but it's not something that will make me be deal breaking whether I'm buying this car or not. Because if there's one thing I can tell you about this car is, Ford has nailed it. Ford is doing extremely well, because I can't believe how many of these cars I saw on the road. It's still unbelievable that I saw way more of these versus Isuzus, versus Amaroks, versus Hiluxes. If there's one thing Ford did right here is build a quality car that would make so many other people choose this car instead of the Hiluxes and the Amaroks. And the fact that the Amarok is built in the same factory, Now remember, Ford does an unbundled package when you're buying this car. It doesn't come with a service plan. It doesn't come with a maintenance plan. You need to buy that separately. Now, it's important to know that you can extend that right up to 8 years or 165,000 kilometers. There's also 4-year unlimited kilometer roadside assistance. There's also 5-year unlimited kilometer corrosion warranty on this car. So those type of things are very important when you're thinking about buying a Ford Ranger. People are thinking about the long term, and the fact that you can extend the service plan and maintenance plan up to 8 years, it's a good thing to think about. It served me quite well taking the drive to Gauteng for the last time, or going home for the last time. Man, this car did very well. Does it do it better than VW and Toyota? I have to admit it does. Obviously, it's not a perfect car, but it has everything you need if you are looking for an all-rounder. 360-degree view camera, very big infotainment system, Apple CarPlay, ticks a lot of boxes, this car. And that brings us to the end of this video. Really enjoyed my time in the Ranger SuperCab. Like, when I say I really enjoyed my time, I really enjoyed my time in this car. So it's going to be even more sad to hand the keys back to Ford South Africa for this car. 25,000 kilometers. I mean, we just hit 25,000 kilometers now. This is such an emotional time. I can't wait to see what your comments are on this car. I can't wait to see what your comments are on the general bakkie discussion that I've brought about here. Let's talk more about the Ford range in general. When you guys were driving on these South African roads, did you see as many double cabs, as many Ford double cabs as I did? Man, it's going to be so interesting to see your comments. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. I love you always. Take care. God bless. Goodbye.
What's the car with Cars.co.za? Say afzet to Andre Durkie Oosthuizen. You'll find him in his Bakuzi, the hotspot of the Vrystaat summer. Lekker. Now think of a car, any car. Yes, we have it. Cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you.